Hey everybody, just a quick little video. I didn't really anticipate on doing this, but it kind of hit me today. And I was like, you know what? I need to record this. I'm going to say this too, by the way. I've had a couple videos that I've recorded and haven't posted yet. That's not by design. That's just by lack of energy and whatnot, which kind of brought me into this conversation. So earlier today, just maybe 2 hours ago, I shipped out my last donation for Comics Curing Cancer. And it included a slab. I've sent a couple slabs this year. We'll get into why soon. And I had initially spoken about doing a blank sketch cover, which I haven't completed one yet. A blank sketch. I've actually worked on one for a friend of the channel whom I owe it to, and kind of gone back and forth. And I've talked about that in the past. Why, and as an artist, sometimes it's tough when you try something new and you need to, I guess for lack of a better description, build up that confidence. But that's a whole nother discussion in itself. About 2 weeks ago or something at this point, I started getting a lot of shoulder pain. You may have heard me talk about this in the past. About 5 or 6 years ago, I had a injury to my shoulder that kind of went on longer than it should have gone on. It was not misdiagnosed, but not diagnosed, I guess you could say. And had surgery for it. Long story short, it's really been aggravating me lately, and I don't know if it's just from the amount of drawing I've been doing, if it's just from bad posture, or if there's something else going on. I've gotten checked out, and luckily I haven't torn it or anything again, or undone anything that was done surgically, but it is definitely agitated. So I've taken a bit of a step back drawing, and even when I have drawn, you might be able to tell my lines are not as clean. It's definitely a little weaker than it typically is. So unfortunately, I didn't send out a custom cover like I had planned to Comics Curing Cancer. Instead, I did something that I never thought I would do. I went through my older art books and notebooks and whatever, and pulled out 2 of my favorite watercolors to be sent out with Comics Curing Cancer. Now, you might be saying, well, this big whoop. I got to tell you, and maybe it's just me, but that was very hard for me to do. Let's say this. First of all, as an artist, and I'm sure many artists would agree, without putting words into anybody's mouth, I'm my own biggest critic. No matter how good something may look, at least for about a year or so after, I'm going to look at it and say, it's not quite what I wanted it to be. There's very few pieces I've done where I'm like, this is great, I can't do anything else to it. And it's a pitfall I think a lot of artists fall into, because you can't keep working on it. You have to stop and say, okay, it's finally done. And, for the record, there are things that maybe I'll look at 2 and 3 years down the road and say, wow, this was really good. Why did I think this was terrible? If you watched my show last week, today, live, last week, when I didn't have a guest, I kind of went through some of those pictures. So I took out the best 2 of my favorites, and I don't mean to sound full of myself when I do this, but they were really 2 of the favorite pieces I've done, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to donate this. Couple reasons. Number one, if it just sits in a book in a storage bin in my basement, nobody's going to see it, ever. Just my wife, and even after I'm long gone, it might not be seen. It might just, my wife's not one to throw things out like willy-nilly, but you never know what's going to happen. 2, this has been a very, I think, important year for me personally as an artist and as an adult in general, as far as growth goes. I'm not going to go into more of the personal stuff. There's a different show for that. But I'm somebody who's always kind of doubted my own abilities. Again, no matter how many likes you get, no matter how much good feedback you get, no matter how good a piece is. So much so, I'm always to the extent where I don't want to think about selling pieces or offering things for sale, because I'm a little afraid nobody's going to buy it. And I'm not talking from a financial perspective and fear. It is very much, not to say ego, but maybe more of like a self-esteem type of thing to that end. But going through this process really with C3 has kind of helped, I think, give me the boost and the confidence to try things differently, try different mediums I haven't done before, or maybe even in a long time. If things pan out, and if my shoulder gets better, Battober is going to be a little bit different, for me, than it's been in the last couple of years. And a lot of this is the confidence of not even getting, selected to be part of the C3 art book, but the whole process and seeing what others are doing and just sharing my feelings about art in general. So part of that, and you probably have seen my reason for my video on why I did my C3 artwork, something very close to myself. Part of that, when I was looking at look, I can't do a sketch, let me send a painting. I don't want to send these away, but these are good. Hopefully these get a lot of money. Was, okay, my art could again just sit here and eventually fall apart, whatever happens over time. Or it could go towards, hopefully, somebody who appreciates it, but even more than that, it could go towards helping the fight against cancer. And I'm not trying to sound cheesy in this, but I truly do believe working together we can make strides in this. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not a biomedicine guy. I don't know how much money it costs to cure a problem. But I know this, that if anybody can help in the fight against cancer, it's our little group, our little community. So it was partly like my way of saying, hey, here's something I hope somebody in the community enjoys. Here's something that I hope really makes a difference in C3. But also just like, hey, it's just part of me doing my little part of something big. I don't know if that makes sense. And again, I'm not trying to sound full of myself. I hope that doesn't come off that way. And now look, C3 is next week. I know people have limited money. I know people have limited time, and I know that there's a lot of great things there. Have you been following the C3 channel on IG, or even Rob's channel? Rob's videos, rather. I mean, there's a lot of great things. My mouth dropped, I think it was about a week and a half ago, when it's like, oh yeah, Scotty Young sent some stuff, and I was almost like, dude, I don't have to send anything in. I was like, no, we need stuff. So, look, I know there's going to be a lot of great things out there. Hopefully, somebody enjoys my piece enough to at least put something in for it. But all in all, I hope that everybody here tunes into C3, if not just to look, but really mainly just to buy and support this great initiative. I have no live show next week because I want to make way for C3, and I'll be watching some, probably not all, of the festivities with everybody. So in short, I really do want to, number one, thank everybody for involved with C3, and everybody who, whether you're actually one of the organizers or not, Mark, DJ, or Rob, even just the people supporting is like giving a thumbs up or just sending a message, hey, I really like what you did here. I want to thank you guys for really, I guess, empowering me to, I don't want to say empower, why don't we just say reinvigorating kind of a part of me as an artist that formal university, and if you've watched some of my art videos in the past, you know what I'm talking about, kind of robbed from me. And that's kind of a bigger part of who I am, but also giving me the opportunity to help out. My hat is literally now figuratively rather, now literally off to you guys. The coffee's wearing off. So that's a good time to probably stop this video. I will say this, please tune into C3 if you haven't already, if you don't plan on doing it already, and contribute something. Get a little something. You don't have to spend a huge amount of money if you don't have it. I could tell you, as in my position, no, we don't have it either. But we're going to do something at least a little bit. And C3, look, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to hit that $50,000 goal this year. I think it'd be awesome if we double that goal. So help me next week get C3 to $100,000 in just a couple of days. tune in, go to the C3IG channel, and you'll see, I think the full schedule is up there. In the meantime, if you want an entry into the Road to 1K giveaway, which, yes, is still going on, do hashtag C3. That's it. Everybody gets an entry. Hashtag C3. Nothing less to say, but peace, love, and comics. Take care.